Would you like an awesome little speaker system that has Bluetooth and is 2.1 and the sub actually pumps pretty damn hard? Then look at these Marvo SG-290BT. Good afternoon and welcome to another review here on Tortoise Tech, where I've got these Marvo speakers that are sort of awesome. Honestly, they actually are really good. I was quite surprised at how good they were. I have a thing for peripherals, okay, if this isn't clear, because it just enhances your experience of your PC at the end of the day. And sound is a very critical key component in that. And yeah, it can genuinely make you full panic if it's set up correctly and you've got like a full surround sound system, which in my youth I had a 7 in 2, so I actually had a 2.1 like this with another 5.1 with a full surround sound, and then played Doom at 1 o'clock in the morning on that, and yes, pants accident. But back to these little speaker systems from Marvo. Now this is the baby one. There actually is a bigger one, which is the one I actually meant to get, but I'm very glad I actually got this one because it's actually exceptionally good, especially considering the price of the speakers. This little system over here is 499 Rand, which is scarcely believable when it has Bluetooth and a 3.5mm jack option on it. So if you have a Bluetooth enabled device like a phone or a laptop, you can just connect it via that and then it can take over your audio from there, so no cables necessary. Or if your device is older and you need a 3.5mm, then you can just connect it over there. Which brings me to the only thing I didn't really like about this package was the 3.5mm cable itself is not very well shielded. So when you connect it into a device, it does tend to give a lot of feedback and static and that sort of stuff. But once it's in there, it's perfectly fine and there was no noticeable loss of audio quality. The Bluetooth, however, is absolutely fantastic, and it's literally a click of a button away. There's a button on the bottom of the speaker that lets you switch between each mode. So you can have it connected to the PC or whatever device with the 3.5mm, and then with the flick of a button it'll enable the Bluetooth and then you can connect to that device as well. As you can see, it also has RGB, which is quite soothing, I have to say, especially when you first turn it on. It's got a very nice soothing pattern, and you could imagine, you know, some nice classical music with that, just leaving you cool, calm and collected. But if you want to bang the tune so loud that the house next door will hear you, it's actually very possible. This speaker system goes pretty damn loud. Over 100 decibels actually. It's one of the louder little 2.1s we've seen, especially considering the fact that this is a 15 watt RMS rated subwoofer with two 8 watt satellite speakers. The bass can be turned up pretty impressively as well before it starts to distort. I did do a little bit of a play with that. You'll see on your screen me with running around with a decibel meter there, looking for it and tweaking the bass on the side of the speaker, and with a good old fashioned Blinded by the Lights from our boy The Weeknd. Great track. Still a great track for testing as well because it covers full spectrum. His, you know, normal falsetto voice and some of the higher trumpety sounds that are going on inside of his music, as well as really good bass. So it gives a nice holistic test on the speaker systems, and it was really good. Loud, extremely loud, uncomfortably loud before there was distortion, and the satellite speakers themselves do not distort at all. You can absolutely max them out. The subwoofer, you can get to about 70% on the max volume of its dial, but that's actually quite a lot, and where it's comfortable you can basically max the bass out and it thumps. For a little 5.25 inch sub, it's actually very good, and it's a proper subwoofer. Now, because of the satellite speaker setup, this does mean, however, that the mid-range is somewhat lacking. Because there is a single tweeter in each side and not a double setup, it does mean that you are losing out a little bit, I would say, in the 1000 Hertz to about 300 Hertz range. The subwoofer does come in and make things very warm on the low end, but noticeably where there's supposed to be like really strong mid-range from, say, something like an electric guitar or a drum kit, that is a little bit softer than the rest of the music. I wasn't expecting to have the best audio profile ever with them costing 500 Rand, but the profile they do have and the audio that they can produce is way above their pay grade. The satellites also have a bit of a strange connection. They both are connected on USB. I understand this is for the RGB to be able to have that running through to the speakers, but it doesn't mean that replacing them in the future is practically impossible, because they would have to be these exact speakers, because it's going to send the signal and the amperage of the audio and everything down that USB cable, which normally you have RCAs on that. Obviously that's to once again get that cool RGB-ness going, which you can't change or modify in any way. It's just on or off, and it has a default scrolling pattern that it goes through. All in all though, I have to say I'm actually pretty impressed with these little Marvo speakers, and like I said, there's an even bigger version which has even more power. Not that I think you would actually need that, to be honest. If you're looking to just get a really decent small speaker setup that's better than the 2 bookshelf speakers that you would normally get for say 300 or 400 rand, you can, without having to double up the price, get yourself a proper little subwoofer with it in the system. And yeah, I'm quite happy. What I'm gonna do is play some NCS music. My microphone isn't the greatest ever. It's not going to give you an idea of audio quality or something to that effect, but maybe it will give you an idea of like how loud these things are. Okay, I think I've made my point. They're loud. very, very loud. Impressively so. And like literally little to no distortion, which is pretty impressive, all things considered. For 500 bucks, I'm actually sort of kind of blown away, to be very honest with you. If you guys have enjoyed this review, please hit us up with a like and subscribe. And I will see you on the flip side.